I'm Mandy Cantrell from the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. I want to thank TV47 before we get started with our show. I want to thank them for all they do to help us put on our program here. So thank you, Chris, and everyone else here. Today we're going to be talking with Pete Storey with ServPro here in Sylacauga, Childersburg, in this area now.
Right.
Yeah. We don't really like to talk about if we've had damage, or it's not a fun topic, really, if you've had damage, water damage, storm damage, fire, flood, but it's something we need to be prepared for, I know. So I do appreciate you coming in to talk about it today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, great.
Glad to be here.
Well, first of all, Pete, tell us about yourself.
Okay. I'm Pete Storey. I'm from Childersburg, originally born and raised there. Actually, still live there. Been there my whole life. My mom and dad had a little small jewelry store there, so downtown's pretty special to me. I have 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren. They live over in Pelham and Alabaster, and been officiating sports. A lot of people know me from that, high school sports, for more than 30 years, and looking forward to retiring from that in a couple of years. So done several things, and just glad to be here with ServPro and be able to help out.
Well, sports are just getting started. Well, football, I guess,
That's
in the fall,
right.
so it's keeping you very busy. But
That's
I know
right.
your job keeps you busy,
It
too.
does, yes.
What is your position with ServPro?
So I'm the marketing specialist here with ServPro, and we cover Talladega, Clay, Randolph County. We actually own St. Clair County also, and as of Friday, we own Jackson and DeKalb County, which is Fort Payne,
Okay.
Scottsboro area.
Good.
But my role is the marketing representative, and I go out and just build the relationships with our business people, insurance agents.
All right. Well, what I want to talk about today is how do we know if we need a professional cleaning service? I mean, are there some things we can do for ourselves? I think about damage like flood, fire, smoke, mold, storms, all
Right.
of that.
Right.
What is the most common, would you say?
Our most common is water damage, actually.
Okay.
That's probably about 60% of our business, 65%. And then fire is below that. And actually, we get a lot of calls for mold. And
Okay.
right now, with the heat and humidity, that is very prevalent. But water damage is definitely
Okay.
the highest percentage of our
Right.
business.
Like from pipes that leak, things like that?
Pipes, it's basically a lot of times a hot water heater busting.
Oh, okay.
Heard about that. And then the water supply line to the toilet, which is on the back of the
Oh,
toilet.
okay.
A lot of times will just pop off for whatever reason. And of course, when your hot water heater bust or the supply line bust, nobody's at home.
Of course.
We find that out a lot, and water has ran just about all day.
Right.
But if we can get to a water damage within 24 hours, we can get it dried up, and we can actually dry drywall out, and you don't have to remove it. So the
Okay.
key there is when you find it. Now, there are some things you can do before we get there, but if you call us, we are 24/7 emergency. We'll call you back within an hour. We're going to have somebody there within 4 hours.
Great.
And have a scope of work for you within 8 hours. But if we can get to it quick enough, we can get everything dried up, and
Good.
really nothing to it.
Right, that's great. Make it like it
Never even happened.
That's
That's right.
true. That's true.
Right.
A lot of leaks and things we don't see. I mean, I don't see. It's behind the wall or in the basement or somewhere where I don't look. How do we know if we've got that damage or if there's mold, things like that?
Right, and a lot of times you don't. We actually have a brochure called "The Water You Don't See."
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that's very prevalent. I mean, and there's a lot of times there's no way to know that until you start seeing a stain, a little bit of microbial growth coming out
Right.
onto the drywall, or sometimes if you just you might see feel the carpet a little damp if it's
Okay,
gotten
yeah.
underneath the carpet. And a lot of times that is hard to determine and to know that you have had a leak. And we do see that quite often, unfortunately too often, that it's been leaking, maybe the roof's leaking down inside the walls, and you don't see that until it's almost too late.
Yes.
And
yes.
those things do start happening.
So it probably would be wise to walk around and look around your house at the ceilings and feel the carpet. I
Oh,
guess,
absolutely,
pretty
especially in the summertime with and as hot as it has been here
Yes.
lately. And the key thing too, Mandy, is on your HVAC unit, on the thermostat, you don't need to be running those down to like 68, 65, 66 to try to keep your house cool. All that's going to do is create the condensation inside, and then the humidity hits it, and that's what starts the growth. It
Okay.
only takes mold 48 to 72 hours to start to start growing. Now you may not see it at that time, but everything that involved in that to make it happen is going to start that process. So I tell people all the time, you know, don't, and I battle it at my house.
We all do.
Well, I know, right? That's the first thought, is to run the temperature down, but that could cause, not saying it is going to every time, but that could be a cause of that.
Why is mold so harmful for us to have in our homes?
Well, it's the, you know, and a lot of times we have it's the air quality that we're breathing in, and it's just, you know, it's just what it is. And here's the other thing too, everybody talks about black mold or whatever. There's really that's sort of a myth, black mold. We do have one of our techs, Steve, that is certified in mold removal, mold mitigation, and we try to send him out on all of those jobs, but it's just harmful because of the spores you're breathing that gets down into your lungs.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the reason we wear the respirators when we're in there looking at it. I found out the hard way that I was sort of allergic to it.
Okay.
First time I worked here, I worked for this location for 2 years, several years ago, and first time I was around it, I got sick a little bit.
Oh, good.
But I had asthma growing up, so I think that had a little bit to do with it. But you know, sometimes you're not going to know until it happens.
Right,
So.
right. Well, I had a family member in another state, had a home they owned. No one lived there, right? And I think her father had died. And so it was a little period of time. They were cleaning it out. And there was a leak, and she hadn't been in for several days and walked in, and there was mold everywhere. And they said, you need to get out of there. That's not something we probably need to tackle ourselves.
No,
is it,
not at all, not at all. When it's all covered all over the house like that, that could be dangerous. It really could. So again, that's the reason we wear our personal protection equipment when we go in. And some mold, now if we get to that quick enough, and even on drywall, if it's not a flat paint, now if it's flat paint on your walls, we cannot clean that off. We can clean mold, and we can encapsulate it, it kills it, and then you paint over that. But it's got to be on drywall, it's got to be on a paint that's got the sheen to it. Wood, brick, we can definitely clean that off and get rid of that way. But again, if it's embedded deep enough, then the only thing we can do is just cut it out, and then we treat whatever's behind that with our microbial agents that we have, chemicals. And those are ServPro's chemicals. We have chemists that work for us that have developed our own products that we don't resell. I can't even take them home to use at my house.
Oh, okay.
And those are the products we use to treat that, and then we dry it out and get ready to put whatever material we took out back.
Well, great. Now I've got to go home and check my house really good.
Well, we do have a moisture meter that we can use. If you ever have questions, just call us. We'll come out, no charge. And we do have moisture meters. We can test walls, floors, and to see if anything is moist for you.
Oh, well, that's handy. Yeah. Well, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Pete.
The Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Welcome back to Library Connection. Hey, welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Pete Storey from ServPro. We're talking about damage to our homes and what can we do versus when we need to call a professional. Now, I know you talked about the folks that work for ServPro and other cleaning agencies have certain kinds of training. What kind of training do y'all require?
So we operate under the IICRC cleaning procedures, which is, I'm gonna have to read it, the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Procedures. Those are nationwide, and those are the certifications that we test under. We actually can, we have manuals we can study. Those are certifications, test in water, fire, mold, cleaning, those kind of things. So that's what we operate under. And we do have, as soon as our employees come to work for us, we, of course, get them out in the field, and the best way really is just trial by error. You get out there and you know, we have great leaders that get out there and teach, but as soon as we feel like somebody's ready to get that certifications, we will put them through that, and it costs a little bit of money and time, but it's worth it. There's workbooks that they study, and then there's classes that we're doing on Zoom now. Of course, everything's pretty much Zoom, which is really works well. We used to go to the training center in Birmingham to do a lot of those trainings, but now we can do it on Zoom, and then you have, I think it's 45 days to take your test. So you get those certifications, they're online, and those really help us, and I think it's good for the public to know that we're not just hiring people and putting them to work, we're actually getting them certified and trained in how to, because there is a certain procedure that you do. You were talking about what you can do at home. There are some things you can do at home before you call us. And you know, especially in a water damage, Mandy, the best thing to do is take pictures. First, because these adjusters, the insurance adjusters, want to see pictures before that they can even get out there, and before we can even get out there. So take your pictures, and listen, if you've got shop vacs, fans, go ahead and try to extract as much water as you can, put your fans on it, call us, and then we'll get out there, and you know, we have the industrial equipment, of course. We can get more water extracted out, and then we set dehumidifiers and the fans to get it drying out. But there definitely are some steps that you can do as a home. And if you see some small mold areas, just very, very small, there's some products at Home Depot that are Lowe's, places like that you can buy to go clean that. You know, because some of the things that, it's real small jobs, you know, we want to save people money. We're not out here just to come out and do work and, you know, get your money. We want to help you. And let me say this too while I'm talking about that, that if you've got a water damage, mostly in water damage, fires are a lot different, but especially in water damages, call us, we'll come out and do an assessment. We can even save you from filing a claim with your insurance, depending on what your deductible is. And I will say this too, you need to understand and know what's in your policy. We were talking mold earlier. Most people don't have mold coverage. Most people don't have the flood coverage. When the flood hit us last summer, a lot of people, a lot of these businesses thought they had flood coverage, but you don't unless you've bought it extra. So I would suggest that you get with your insurance agent, you pull that policy out, and you make sure you're covered for these kind of instances.
Make sure you know what you have.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, all right. What about things like fires? And I know we can try to prevent fires by doing the things we learned from firemen when we were children. But what happens when you have a fire? Like you said, you take pictures if it's just a small house fire and then call you, or see if we can clean it ourselves a little bit? It
Well,
just depends on
cleaning
the
fires
damage.
is totally different than water, really. Because we have special sponges that gets the soot off, and there's really nothing out there that you can do for the fires.
Okay.
So
All
you're going to
right.
need a professional company like ours to come out and do that. But take the pictures there also. You know, they're going to investigate, find out where the fire started.
Sure.
Even the insurance companies will do that, much less the fire marshals. But
Right.
and that's, you know, coming up on winter time too. Make sure these electric heaters are unplugged at night. We get a lot of calls, unfortunately, during Thanksgiving and Christmas. People are cooking.
Oh, yeah.
You turn your stove on. You walk away. Now that's a lot of the cause of fires, just in general. You start boiling water, or you're cooking something. You get distracted. You
Yes.
walk out of the kitchen, come back, your kitchen's on fire. So, and then if it's small, yeah, I mean, there's, you know, it's not going to be that bad. But then you got the soot that's going everywhere.
Okay.
That gets up into your ductwork. We clean ductwork.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's part of the process on a fire, is to clean the ductwork, because that soot's going everywhere, right?
Right. So y'all can help remove the smoke smell too.
We do.
of that.
That's right. We have special ways to get odors out of any kind of odor, really.
Okay, yeah.
But especially the smoke. We take your contents on a fire. We take your contents back to our warehouse. It's climate controlled.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own bin, and we clean that. Your furniture, whatever, clothes. We take your clothes,
Oh, I
send them to a
realize you
dry
did clothes
cleaner.
also.
We do. We send what needs to be dry cleaned to a dry cleaner we work with. We launder some there in-house. And so we can get all that out. Believe it or not, we can get the smoke smell out of furniture and clothes when you have a fire.
That's great.
I know, right?
Well, I've learned quite a bit. We're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Pete.
There's a lot in life to smile about. Are loose dentures or missing teeth keeping you from enjoying the things you love? Don't miss out on enjoying life's precious moments. You can be you again with affordable mini dental implants. You can smile again, laugh out loud, and have your self-confidence back. Let us help you make it memorable.
I'm Dr. Rick Redmond. Call me today for a free consultation and give me the opportunity to change your life.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Pete Storey from ServPro. We've talked about floods and fires. What about just general cleaning of homes? Do y'all do that, or we can get that done professionally, right?
That's right, we do. We clean houses, just a good general deep cleaning. That sort of surprised me when I came to work here the first time. We started getting calls, you know, to do a cleaning of your home. I thought, wow, I didn't think about that. But think about what we've talked about. When you have a fire, water, or mold, we're used, you know, that's part of the cleanup process is to clean. So we do. We get calls to come out and give them an estimate on just doing a deep cleaning. We clean carpet, and we do that pretty regular, to be honest with you. Cleaning hardwood floors, we have the equipment to do that. We do a lot of strip sealing, waxing for school systems.
Okay, yes.
So if you've got a business out there that's got the VCT tile, that we can come out and strip seal and wax that for you and keep that updated, and we'll set you up on a maintenance schedule doing that too.
How often should we have our carpet cleaned?
You know, the traffic area, of course, is more, and you see that in your own home or office where people are walking. So I would say, typically every 2 to 3 years, really, unless the traffic area is even worse.
Right.
Then probably once a year to do that.
Depends on how many people live there.
That's right, and even ductwork cleaning in your home, every 4 to 5 years, really, we recommend in your home. Commercial-wise, is a little bit more because you're there every day. And you're in your home every day too, but it's just more,
it's not a public area.
That's right, that's right. So commercial-wise, we say every 2 to 3 years, really, get your ductwork cleaned.
Okay. Now, I do not have a pet in my home, but for people that do, what's the best way to remove pet stains and odors?
Get rid of the pets. No, I'm just kidding. I've got pets, I know, and I battle that too. I was just kidding.
Yeah.
We have special ways to do that too. Some things you can do is just, keep the windows open if you can. Of course, right now it's hot. The air circulation is key. Getting a dehumidifier. You can go to Walmart and buy you one of these small.
Dehumidifier.
Yeah, that will help. We have what we call air scrubbers that we use to get the odors out. We actually have an ozone machine too. Now, that is, you cannot be in a room with the ozone machine on. So we use that and just some other little special ways that we have to get rid of it.
Now, I have to go back to the dehumidifier. I mean, I've used a humidifier with my children, especially if you got a cough or things like that. A dehumidifier is going to pull the moisture.
That's right. That pulls the moisture out, and especially if you have a basement that's moisture-wise, and you have that little smell down there. Get you a dehumidifier, and that should work.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't realize you could just buy those somewhere.
Yeah, and you can rent them at Home Depot too.
Oh, okay. How do you know if you need one?
Well, you really don't, in a way, I guess. You could call us and we could come out and look at it and recommend that or not. I think if you just have that little bit of odor, if you want to try that, you could do that.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think about that with the odor, but that probably would have a lot to do with it.
It does.
Oh, it makes sense. I know y'all work with biohazard things. How do I know if I have a biohazard? I know chemicals and things like that, but that's not something I'd really have at my house that much. What are other biohazards that we might have?
Right. Some of it is, just the blood. If you've had blood on your carpet, that's considered any kind of blood exposure that's on your furniture, floors, whatever. That's considered a biohazard. Animal droppings is considered biohazard, actually.
Okay.
You wouldn't think that, but it is. And of course, if you've had someone unfortunately pass away in the home and they've been there for 2 or 3 days, then that's considered biohazard, and we go in and do that cleanup also.
That's not something you want to do.
No,
but it's something
that's very unfortunate.
But at those times, it needs to be done.
That's right.
Now, I know you mentioned a freezer. If a freezer goes out, that is also maybe considered biohazard or
yes, it is. And we've had that happen more commercial-wise, but if you've got a deep freeze at home or you just your refrigerator with that freezer in there, if that freezer goes out and you've got it stocked full of meat, and say if you're off on vacation, and that happens, it's gonna be a bad odor when you come back, and that is, in our profession and industry, that is considered a biohazard. And we've had that happen commercial-wise also. Freezers full of food that just it went out, got unplugged by somebody. We've had that happen. We had that happen several years ago that had like 6 or 7 20-pound turkeys. It was around Thanksgiving holiday, and they had them stocked with that. And it was over the weekend that this freezer undoubtedly got unplugged. And so that's considered biohazard in our industry also. And we came out, we got everything out, and we were actually able to clean that freezer and got the odor out, so you didn't have to throw that freezer away. Sometimes we can do that, sometimes we can't. It just depends on how strong that odor is.
I'm glad to know you don't have to throw it out always.
That's right.
That's
That's
great.
right. You don't.
A lot of these biohazards can be dangerous for our health. Is that correct?
Oh yes, yeah, especially the blood part.
That's true.
Especially that part of it, and the odor too. Yeah, breathing those air spores that you have with those odors can be definitely, if you have something like that. Most people have these little small masks at home.
Sure. Yes.
Or the N90s that you paint with, whatever, but definitely would recommend putting those on.
Okay, all right.
And gloves. Always cover your hands.
Always
if you're
use
dealing
gloves
with that.
and a mask.
Yes.
Okay, well, we've all got masks.
That's right.
Okay. What about storm damage? I guess I think of that as I got to call a construction company or something, and you do
Right.
have to. But
Right, and we do local storm damage, and we travel. We travel all over the country doing storm damage. So the flood we had last summer,
Yeah.
the big freeze that we had around
Oh,
Christmas,
yes.
those were considered storm work for us.
Okay, right.
And it was a storm on the flood for sure.
Yes.
And then the freeze, of course, what that did, it just pipes started busting in businesses, homes, and all. That's considered. But the storms that we work out of state and across the country are the hurricanes and tornadoes that hit.
Right.
And we work that through ServPro Corporate. They call us, put us on alert. Like there's a hurricane that's, if you're watching the weather, there's one coming up through the Gulf now, potentially going to hit Florida. So they will put us on alert, get your team ready, and then we get leads from them, and they send us to a certain area, wherever that is.
Okay, well, good. And I forgot to ask this when I asked about having your carpet cleaned. What about furniture, curtains, ceilings, walls, brick, all of that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked about that because I forgot about that too. We clean furniture on site. We can bring it back to the warehouse, clean it there. Rugs, we clean rugs a lot. Now, cleaning a rug on a hardwood floor, we don't do that because that's going to get the chemical down into the floor.
Yeah, that's true.
So we can still clean your rugs at your home if you've got a driveway or carport. We can take them out. We recommend letting us bring the rugs back to our warehouse to clean those, get them inside. We clean them, dry them out good for you. But yeah, we clean furniture and drapes. We have a system to clean drapes hanging. Don't have to take those down. We've got a crew this morning cleaning some mold off of furniture, off a couch, and dressers, chest of drawers, baseboards. We do all of that. I know it's.
Well, gosh, y'all are very busy, and I appreciate your help helping us know when to call a professional, what we can do ourselves. And thank you for coming in today, and thank you so much for joining me on Library Connection.